Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show, the performance that changed everything forever. Welcome to Celeb TV. What if I told you that one woman, standing alone on a floating platform high above a stadium filled with 70,000 screaming fans, managed to rewrite the rules of what a Super Bowl halftime show could be? What if that same performance, lasting just 13 minutes, became the most watched halftime show in history and sparked conversations that are still echoing through the entertainment industry today? On February 12, 2023, Rihanna took the stage at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, and delivered a cultural phenomenon that transcended music, sports, and entertainment itself. This wasn't just a comeback. This wasn't just a performance. This was Rihanna reminding the world exactly who she is and why her absence from music had left a void that nobody else could fill. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show became an instant classic, a moment frozen in time that proved why she remains one of the most influential artists of our generation. The anticipation leading up to the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show was unlike anything the entertainment world had witnessed in recent memory. For years, fans had been begging, pleading, and demanding that Rihanna return to music. Social media campaigns with millions of participants had become annual traditions. Memes about waiting for new Rihanna music had become part of internet culture. Yet she remained focused on building her billion-dollar Fenty empire, revolutionizing the beauty and fashion industries while her musical legacy continued to grow in her absence. When the announcement finally came in September 2022 that Rihanna would headline the Super Bowl halftime show, the internet quite literally exploded. Twitter crashed multiple times as fans processed the news. Entertainment journalists scrambled to analyze what this meant. Would this signal a full return to music? Would we finally get new songs? The speculation was endless, but one thing was certain: the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show was already making history before a single note was played. The pressure was immense. Following in the footsteps of legendary performers like Beyoncé, Prince, and Michael Jackson, Rihanna had to deliver something extraordinary. And extraordinary is exactly what the world received on that unforgettable February evening in Arizona. When Rihanna proved that some legends never fade, they simply choose their moments to remind us of their greatness. Before we dive deeper into this incredible story, I want to ask you something important. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show and you want to see more exclusive celebrity content, analysis, and breaking entertainment news, please take a moment right now to smash that like button below this video. It truly helps us bring you more of the content you love. And if you haven't already subscribed to Celeb TV, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're building an incredible community of entertainment lovers here, and we want you to be part of it. Also, I'm really curious, what's your favorite Rihanna song of all time? Drop it in the comments below because I absolutely love reading your thoughts and opinions. Your engagement means everything to us, so let's keep this conversation going. Now, let's get back to unpacking this legendary performance that had everyone talking. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show began with an image that will be forever etched in entertainment history. Rihanna, dressed in a custom red low jumpsuit that paid homage to both athletic wear and high fashion, standing on a floating platform suspended in the air. The symbolism was immediate and powerful. She wasn't on the ground with everyone else. She was literally elevated above it all, a visual representation of her status in the music industry. As the opening notes of her hit song, "Bitch Better Have My Money," echoed through the stadium and across television screens in millions of homes worldwide, something became immediately clear. This wasn't going to be a typical Super Bowl halftime show filled with guest appearances and elaborate costume changes. This was going to be Rihanna, in her purest form, delivering hit after hit after hit, reminding the world of the incredible catalog she had built over nearly 2 decades in the industry. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show setlist was carefully crafted to take viewers on a journey through her evolution as an artist. From "Where Have You Been?" to "Only Girl in the World," from "We Found Love" to "Rude Boy," each song represented a different era, a different sound, a different version of Rihanna that fans had fallen in love with over the years. What made the performance particularly special was the restraint she showed. In an era where halftime shows often feel overstuffed with special effects, multiple guest stars, and constant visual bombardment, Rihanna kept things relatively simple. The focus remained on her voice, her presence, her undeniable star power. The floating platforms moved throughout the stadium, creating dynamic visual moments without overwhelming the performance itself. The dancers, dressed in matching white outfits, provided support without stealing focus. Everything was designed to highlight Rihanna herself, and that decision proved to be absolutely brilliant. As the performance progressed through classics like Work and Wild Thoughts, it became evident that the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show wasn't just entertaining current fans but was introducing her music to an entirely new generation of listeners who might have been too young to experience her initial rise to superstardom. Perhaps the most talked about moment of the entire Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show came during a brief pause in the performance when Rihanna reached for what appeared to be a compact and touched up her makeup. That single gesture, lasting only a few seconds, sparked countless conversations about confidence, femininity, power, and the redefinition of what a halftime show could include. Some critics questioned whether it was appropriate or professional. Defenders argued it was the ultimate power move, a woman unapologetically taking a moment for herself on the world's biggest stage. Think about the audacity of that moment. In the middle of the most watched musical performance of the year, broadcast to over 100 million viewers globally, Rihanna essentially said, "I'm going to take a second for myself." That's not just confidence. That's the kind of self-assurance that only comes from someone who truly understands their worth and their place in the cultural hierarchy. But the makeup moment, as viral as it became, was just one part of a much larger revelation that occurred during the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show. Through her stylist and team, it was later confirmed that Rihanna was pregnant with her second child during the performance. Suddenly, everything made even more sense. The subtle changes in choreography compared to what many expected. The strategic camera angles. The focus on upper body movement and vocals rather than intense dancing. Rihanna had performed the biggest show of her career while carrying new life, and she did it with such grace and power that most viewers didn't even realize it until after the fact. The pregnancy reveal added yet another layer to the legacy of the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show, transforming it from simply an incredible performance into a statement about motherhood, ambition, and the capabilities of women in entertainment. Social media exploded once again as fans processed this information, with many going back to rewatch the performance with this new context, finding moments they had missed the first time around. The impact of the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show extended far beyond the 13 minutes she spent on that stage in Arizona. Within hours of the performance ending, Rihanna's music catalog experienced a massive surge in streaming numbers. According to reports from various music platforms, her songs collectively saw increases of up to 400% in the days immediately following the Super Bowl. Songs from every era of her career suddenly found new life on playlists around the world. Younger listeners who had perhaps only known Rihanna as a beauty mogul or fashion icon were discovering her musical genius for the first time. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show introduced an entire generation to the artist who had defined much of the 2010s pop music landscape. On Apple Music alone, her top songs accumulated millions of new streams within the first 72 hours after her performance. Spotify reported similar numbers, with We Found Love, Diamonds, and Umbrella, all re-entering various global charts. The economic impact was staggering, with industry analysts estimating that the streaming surge generated significant additional revenue for Rihanna and her label. But beyond the numbers and the dollars, something more profound was happening. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show had reminded people of something they had perhaps forgotten during her musical hiatus. Rihanna isn't just a celebrity or a businesswoman, she's one of the most talented and influential musical artists of the past 2 decades. Her ability to blend genres, from pop to R&B, from dancehall to electronic music, set her apart from her peers. Her willingness to take risks with her sound and her image pushed the entire industry forward. And the Super Bowl performance crystallized all of that into 13 perfect minutes that showcased exactly why she achieved the legendary status she holds today. The production elements of the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show deserve special recognition because they represented a masterclass in how to support an artist without overwhelming them. The stage design, created by Bruce Rogers of Tribe Company, featured multiple floating platforms that could be raised, lowered, and moved throughout the stadium space. This created a 3-dimensional performance environment that had never quite been seen before at a Super Bowl halftime show. The lighting design was intentionally minimal compared to some previous years, using white and red as the primary colors throughout the performance. This simplicity served a purpose. It kept the focus on Rihanna herself rather than on visual effects. The decision to dress the backup dancers in matching white outfits created a striking visual contrast with Rihanna's red ensemble, again ensuring that the star remained the focal point at all times. The audio production was equally impressive, with Rihanna's vocals coming through crystal clear despite the notorious acoustic challenges of performing in a massive stadium environment. Sound engineers had to account for not just the live audience in the stadium but also the broadcast audience watching at home, ensuring that both experiences were optimal. The seamless transitions between songs, the carefully timed platform movements, the coordination between hundreds of crew members, dancers, and technical staff, all of it came together to create what many production experts have called one of the most technically proficient halftime shows in Super Bowl history. Yet despite all this technical excellence, the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show never felt cold or overly produced. It retained a warmth and intimacy that connected with viewers on an emotional level. When Rihanna sang Diamonds, you could feel the emotion in her voice. When she delivered Work, you could sense her joy at being back on stage. That balance between technical precision and emotional authenticity is what elevated the performance from simply good to genuinely legendary. As we reflect here on January 18, 2026, nearly 3 years after that unforgettable night in Arizona, the legacy of the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show continues to grow and evolve. It has become the standard against which future halftime shows are measured. When Usher performed in 2024 and when future artists take that stage, they will inevitably be compared to what Rihanna accomplished. Her performance proved that you don't need elaborate gimmicks or constant surprises to deliver an incredible show. What you need is undeniable talent, a catalog of hits that speaks for itself, and the confidence to let your artistry take center stage. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show also represented something larger in terms of representation and cultural impact. As a black woman, as a mother, as an immigrant from Barbados who became a global icon, Rihanna's presence on that stage meant something profound to millions of people around the world. She carried the weight of representation with the same grace she brought to every other aspect of the performance. Young girls, particularly young girls of color, watched someone who looked like them command the biggest stage in entertainment, and that kind of visibility matters in ways that are difficult to quantify but impossible to deny. The performance also sparked important conversations about the expectations placed on female performers compared to their male counterparts, about pregnancy and performance, about artistic integrity versus commercial appeal. These conversations continued long after the confetti fell and the stadium lights dimmed, proving that truly great art doesn't just entertain in the moment but continues to provoke thought and discussion long after the fact. So here we are, looking back at a moment that defined not just a year but an era in popular culture. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show wasn't just a performance. It was a statement, it was a reminder, it was a celebration of an artist who had given us so much incredible music over the years and who chose the biggest stage in the world to remind us of that gift. From the opening notes to the final bow, from the floating platforms to that infamous makeup touch-up, from the pregnancy reveal to the streaming records that followed, every element combined to create something truly special. The Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show proved that when you're truly talented, when you've built a catalog of genuinely great music, when you understand your worth and your place in the cultural landscape, you don't need gimmicks or distractions. You just need to be yourself, at your best, sharing your art with the world. And on February 12, 2023, that's exactly what Rihanna did. She gave us 13 minutes of pure artistry, of confidence, of power, of reminder that some legends never need to shout about their status because their work speaks loudly enough on its own. As the years pass and new artists emerge and the entertainment landscape continues to evolve, the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show will remain a touchstone moment, a perfect encapsulation of why she became a global icon in the first place. It will be studied by future performers, analyzed by critics, and most importantly, remembered fondly by the millions of fans who were lucky enough to witness it in real time. Now I want to hear from you, because your opinion truly matters to our community here at Celeb TV. Looking back at the Rihanna Super Bowl halftime show and everything it represented, do you think this performance will go down as the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time, or do you believe another artist has claimed that title? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's have a respectful, engaging discussion about this incredible moment in entertainment history.